Welcome back, my dear students. It's nice to meet you. We'll stay on the space. Do you know that? We are now on the space. We fly from place to another. You must come with me, my lover. We will complete our explanation about the space, about universe, about attraction force and gravitational force. You remember? We'll complete it now. Are you ready with me? I think, yeah. Let's go and see. The force of attraction we studied, it means the attraction between bodies directly proportional to the product of what? Of their masses, and inversely proportional to square root of distance. This is back to the Newton. My dear students, I have an important note to you. This note about the gravity. By gravity, what's it mean? The matter of the celestial bodies remain firm. You see, by effect of what? By effect of the gravity. Also is attract gases. Planet can attract gases? Yes, it attracted to the planets or moon, forming what? Forming the atmosphere. You must know our atmosphere is made of the gases. These gases surround the planets, stay around the planets back to the gravity. Catch this, my dear. If there is no gravity, do you think what happened? No attraction force between what and what? Sun and the earth, sun and other planets. Yes. So the gravity control the attraction and the rotation the earth around the sun. The earth will leave its orbit. Do you know why? If there is no gravity, and float and float and float in random fashion. Random, it means in any way, in distraction of the earth. So without gravity, there is no life, not something. The planets moves away from the sun, gravity, and so it becomes slower by effect of the gravity. So what about the theories about evaluation of the solar system? My dear, I want to explain how the solar system is formed, how the planets are formed. We know the first one. There are about 20 theories about evolution of the solar system. The first one about the importance for this theory. What is the importance? Why we need all of these theories? We need them for the first one. Nebula theory is the first theory. Also, the crossing star theory, the other theory. Also, the modern theory. Just this year, we'll study the three theories about formation or origin of the living organisms on the earth. One after one, modern theory, recent theory, both like each other. When I catch the first theory about nebular theory, nebula theory back to the scientist Laplace. Laplace, this has happened in 1796. The universe or the earth at the beginning, just a lot of the gases. These gases surround our universe from hydrogen, helium, and so on. It has also clouds and dust. I tell you, these gases, hydrogen 74% or 75%, and helium 24, 25. The other gases, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide. All of them are condensed together. When they are condensed, they form flat surface. This flat surface is stay in motion, as you see, stay in movement. Suddenly, the temperature increase and becomes very hot. The sun takes about 10 million years, to be formed. It's a huge number. the clouds contract and contract and contracted and form small bodies. As you see, you must know the solar system was a glowing gas now. A sphere revolve around it. These gases is called what? Is called nebula. But when I ask you, what is the nebula? It's gases. The process to know what happened inside it. After time passes, nebula lose the heat gradually. Rocks. These rocks planets formed, yes, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, due to condensation of these gases and rocks. After that, there is not a stop. The other gases contracted and formed the other planets. But these planets especially made of gases only, not the rocks, as a Jupiter and Saturn. What about Uranus and Neptune? They are mixed, some rocks, some iced, some of dust. What this mean? It means formation of planet by nebula theory. The gases circle, becomes cold and cold. It's frozen. When it's frozen, do you think what it formed? Formed planets. What is the planets? It means gained planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Yeah, but different degree for this gained planet. You can say Jupiter, Saturn, they are planets completely by what? By gases. This is especially for Saturn, but has a lot of rings. The other become very cold. It means Neptune. Catch it, my dear. The scientist Laplace, Pierre Laplace, he said, published a research entitled The World Around You, called World Order. You say world order. What's it mean? Laplace say the researches including appreciations about what? Evolution of the solar system affected by two observations. Which are? What these two observations? The first one, from this observation, there are something that look like clouds. Clouds here is called the nebula. Clouds or nebula. This is found in the space. What else? The space contains many clouds surrounding the planet. Also nebula. Don't forget that. After that, I have assumption for nebula theory. When I say solar system was glowing gases, burning gases, this gaseous sphere revolving around itself. Do you know why? Because this gases is, yes, nebula. Also, as the time passes, the nebula lost its heat gradually. It becomes cold, so its size contracted and contracted and contracted, and its revolving speed around itself increase. Size increase, and it becomes high speed. At the same time, under the effect of centrifugal force, the nebula lose its sphere. It changes from the sphere and they become flat rotating disk. What else? I say the parts got separated from this flat disk by the effect of centrifugal force to form what? To form a gaseous circle that also rotate in the same direction like nebula. You see, all of them back to the word nebula rotation. My dear, the gaseous circle here cooled down. It's frozen, formed planet and the solar system. This is formation of what? Formation of the planet during the solar system. The remaining flame masses is the sun. The other sun, yes, the huge part for our solar system is the sun, huge and huge for its masses. Crossing star theory. Crossing star, what's it mean? I say in the past, from millions of the years, the universe stay for its rotation after Big Bang. Suddenly, huge star close to sun, huge star. This star exploded. What happened when it's exploded? Directly we say this explosion form new bodies. This new bodies is very hot. These bodies move around the sun, stay for its high temperature. We ask why it stay that? Because the temperature of the sun is very high, arrived to 50 million degrees. It's a huge number, very hot. Now, do you think what happened after that? The small particles or small planets start to rotate around the sun. This rotation around the sun take long time in fixed orbit. After that, this part becomes cold. When it becomes cold, it formed what? It formed planets. Yes, from these planets is what? Is our solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter. You know, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. My lover, the rotation for crossing star depending on just star near to the sun by effect of high temperature is not stay for its position. Now, you must know the star attracted to sun material. After that, to be great expansion by this part of the sun. This expand part was exploded and the gaseous line was formed. This gaseous line moved around the sun. Due to the explosion, the temperature decrease and change into cold bodies as you see. What this cold bodies? It's planets. You catch crossing star now? It's easy, my lover. My dear, crossing star theory very important. Why? He just say huge star close to sun. When it's close, this means what? 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 And last planet. My lover, what I do now? Due to this explosion, the sun escaped. Move away and away and away. The gravity of the stars. Why? To be cold. Try to be cold from 50,000 degrees, 50 million degrees to 14 million degrees till now. After that, the gaseous line started to be condensed. Condensed due to attraction forces. becomes cooling. The planets becomes cooling. Planets now, after this cooling, it formed. This is formation of the planet. This theory is important, you know. After that, I have modern theory of the world. Modern theory, it means the nearest to us. Yes, I know. What is the modern theory? I don't understand it. Modern theory, this is happened by Alfred Hall in 1944. This theory is based on what is sometimes seen when a star greatly glows for a short time to become one of the most shining star in the sky. Glows, a shining star. How can I understand this theory? I tell you now. Look, after a day, it glows disappear. After formation of this glows disappear gradually to return to its normal nature. This glows is due to what? Is due to the explosion of the star as a result of nuclear reaction that occur suddenly. How can you get this nuclear reaction? Nuclear reaction, the reaction inside the sun due to collision between the helium and hydrogen gas. This reaction is not stopped. It stay for a long time, all time in explosion. Why? To form new bars that form after that the planets. My dear student, the star pumps a huge amount of the gases material. When this reaction occurs, the sun forms from collapsing the gas clouds. To understand this collapsing, you must know planets to form orbit around the sun. I ask you, planets form orbit? Yes. Jupiter begin to the spiral toward to the inner solar system. The inner solar system is chocked with dozen large rocky planets because they are made of rocks. Jupiter destroys the inner rocks of the planet, clearing the way of the formation of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Earth forms the outer habitat zone from, yes, the price left over from Jupiter. After that, Earth knowing a huge chunk out of the planets. You see, after formation of the Earth, the price left over this collision clumps together, and the late heavy bombarding moon and the Earth. The first sign plate structure have appeared on the Earth's surface. My dear, the oldest confirmation evidence in the photosynthetic life. Yes, oxygen is pumped into in our ecosystem. After that, the Earth become the moist surface. With moon is still very close to the Earth, tied to the Earth by effect of gravity. The ocean are completely saturated with oxygen. By this point, the first oxygenic photosynthesis leads to greatest mass extension, arrive to what? 99%. The first thing, first archeal cell, multicellular organisms start to be formed. Drop of carbon dioxide triggers the second snowball, the Earth. Now the temperature arrive to 50 degrees. The last major period ended to the educational period beginning. It means the life is a start. The amount of the oxygen in atmosphere become sufficient to form a ozone gas, ozone layer. After explosion, complex life start to be appeared. The first plant colonize. Colonize, it means a lot of the parts forming a point. About what? About formation 83% of the general becoming extending. The virus become to be appear by the infect of eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell become what after that? It become the first dinosaurs. From eukaryotic cell to dinosaurs, yeah, dinosaurs start to appear, dominated, vertebrates start to appear for this time. After about 10 kilometer wide, 75 from all space and the ending ages of dinosaurs on the earth, now the modern era, it means the modern earth, life as it is, you see. After what? After about 15,000 millions, and DNA start to form the bodies of living organisms. The solar system will have completed now, stay for its rotation by the effect of more attraction force and gravitational force. Do you know what this means? This is modern theory. Photosynthesis, it's important for the beginning of the life on the earth. Without it, there is no life. My dear, you must know the modern theory. This modern theory is the opposite of crossing star. It means the explosion of the star that close to the sun, and the life start to appear on the earth. Start from where? Small structure, unicellular, until arrive to where? To multicellular living organisms. Dinosaur appears, vertebrates appears, until human, as you see. Now, the life as it is now. It's a good theory to catch formation of the life on the earth. Earth is the innermost planet in the solar system, made of the rocks, has an atmosphere, so it's suitable for life. My dear students, we have some assumptions about this theory. The first, the extent of the star rotating near the sun. Also, the star was exposed to explosion. Why? Due to huge nuclear reaction. This is happened where? This is happened inside the sun. My dear students, what about the force of the explosion? The force here led to pumping the star's nucleus away of the gravity of the sun. After that, you must know a cloud of gas remained and subjected to cooling. Cooling here, it means contraction. The contraction process forming what? Forming planets. So, all beginning from where? From the star. Exploded, contracted, and forming planets. My dear, when I say the attraction force of the sun controlled what? Controlled the orbit of planets. That found where? Found around the sun. After that, more recent theory. Do you think we will stop? No. The science will be directly for development. More recent theory about this, when I say sun was surrounded by a sphere of the gas. This gas is a mixture of the hydrogen and the helium and dust. This dust has iron, rocks, ice, or solar nebula. Also, yes, it's more and more. Nebula is not stopped. After that, the solar nebula turned into flat rotating disk. Then, what happened? The dust compressed together, forming inner planets, which are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, made of rocks, all of them made of rocks. After that, the dust and the ice combined together with the gas. When it combined, forming what? Forming 4 outer planets, which are outer, yes I know, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. 4 outer and 4 inner. What about this note? Look, the Earth is the largest, biggest inner planet, and it has just one moon. this moon rotating around it. Just we say largest inner, not largest planet, because the largest planet is what? Is Jupiter. Astronauts fly to the space to discover planet. This is a Mercury, Venus, only? No, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. They are called inner planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Where is the Neptune? Yes, this is a blue one and the coldest one. What this mean? They are outer. Inner, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, they are close to the sun, made of the rocks. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, they are outer planets that made of what? Made of good, made of gases. You must know these planets are our solar system. Go with this astronaut to catch our solar system. My dear students, it's an interesting lesson, a wonderful lesson. I meet you soon to tell you more and more about the space, and tell me if you understand the lesson or no. Thank you and goodbye.